After studying this module, you shall be able to know the concept of wisdom, identify the various criteria for assessing wisdom, and learn the various theories of wisdom. Wisdom has been contemplated by philosophers, theologians, and people concerned with how to live a good life. Wisdom generally relates to the insight into the human condition as well as the means and ends of a good life. It involves an integration of knowledge and experience as well as a deep understanding of the uncertainties of life. There is an awareness of how things will happen over time, which provides a sense of balance. Wise people usually have an optimism that problems in life can be solved, and therefore they are calm during setbacks and failures. Intelligence may be a necessary but not sufficient condition for wisdom. Wisdom refers to the ability to take stock of life in broad terms. It is the coordination of information about different aspects to improve well-being. It allows one to listen to others, to evaluate what they say, and offer good advice. In recent literature, two major research groups have mainly contributed to the scientific study of wisdom. One is Baltes and colleagues at the Max Planck Institute for Human Development in Berlin and Sternberg and colleagues at Yale University. Baltes and colleagues define wisdom as expertise in the conduct and meaning of life. A wise person is someone who knows what is most important in life and how to get it. He or she knows what constitutes the meaningful life and how to plan for and manage such a life. Sternberg's recent definition of wisdom states that wise people use their intelligence to seek a common good by balancing their interests with those of other people. Wise people can adapt to new environments, change their environments, or select new environments to achieve an outcome that includes but goes beyond their personal self-interest, according to Sternberg. Let us look at the various conceptions of wisdom. Wisdom involves exceptional personal and interpersonal competence like listening, giving advice, and is used for the well-being of self and others. Explicit theories of wisdom define wisdom as a stage of personality development, a stage of cognitive development, or a high level of skill development involving both personality and cognitive processes. Wisdom as the final stage of personality development, that is, integrity versus despair. Explicit theories of wisdom define wisdom as a stage of personality development, a stage of cognitive development, or a high level of skill development involving both personality and cognitive processes. Wisdom as the final stage of personality development, that is, integrity versus despair. Erik Erikson has discussed wisdom within the context of his life cycle model of personality development. In later adulthood, the crisis faced is integrity versus despair. When this crisis is resolved in favor of integrity, it leads to wisdom. People are more likely to develop wisdom if they have developed virtues of hope, will, purpose, competence, fidelity, love, and care in resolving psychosocial dilemmas encountered at earlier stages of the life cycle. According to Erikson, Wisdom is accepting imperfection in oneself, one's parents, and one's life. In this theory, wisdom is considered to be the final stage of personality development. Wisdom as the final stage of cognitive development. Riegel has suggested that in late adolescence, that is, after people have passed through Piaget's 4 stages of cognitive development, they enter the stage of dialectical operations. According to Bassetches, the use of dialectical thinking to solve complex human problems in adulthood is an important way of understanding wisdom. Wisdom as expert knowledge. According to Baltes and Staudinger, wisdom involves both personality and cognitive processes. They define wisdom as an expert knowledge system regarding the pragmatics of life that relates mind and virtue. This includes knowledge and judgments about the meaning of life and how to pursue excellence and well-being of oneself and other people. Positive psychology and the study of wisdom. The interest in the concept of wisdom emerged as a reaction to a one-sided focus on the negative in gerontological research in the 1960s and 70s. The exception was Erikson's theory, which focused on wisdom. The researchers explored the positivity of old age, which involved cognitive training studies to understand the role of practice deficits and the latent learning potential of the older population. Wisdom as a topic of scientific discourse about the good life. Wisdom has been studied in philosophy and religion for thousands of years, and now one can say that wisdom is becoming a center of transdisciplinary discourse. Now let us look at the criteria for evaluation. Baltes and Staudinger have developed 5 criteria to evaluate the quality of a wise judgment or behavior. Wisdom entails a rich store of declarative knowledge, that is, knowing facts about development and the contextual nature of the human condition. Wisdom involves a rich repertoire of procedural knowledge, that is, knowledge about how to perform certain skills and routines. Wisdom involves an appreciation of the many themes and contexts of life, such as self, family, peer group, etc. Wisdom entails a relativism of values and life priorities, tolerance for differences in values held by individuals and society in the service of the common good. Wisdom entails a recognition and management of uncertainty and a tolerance for ambiguity. Now let us look at the psychological theories of wisdom. Distinctions are made between implicit and explicit theories of wisdom. Implicit theoretical approaches to wisdom discuss the folk conceptions regarding the nature of wisdom. In contrast, theories of wisdom developed by psychologists may be called as explicit theoretical approaches. Implicit theories of wisdom consist of psychological research associated with folk psychological or common sense approaches. Implicit theories refer to the beliefs or mental representations of people regarding wisdom, as well as the characteristics of wise people. The conceptions include cognitive, social, motivational and emotional components. The cognitive components include strong intellectual abilities, knowledge and experience regarding the human condition, and the practical application of theoretical knowledge. Another basic component refers to reflective judgment based on knowledge about the world and self, openness to new experiences, and the ability to learn from mistakes. Socio-emotional components include good social skills. The motivational component refers to the good intentions that usually are associated with wisdom. There are mainly 5 conclusions about the concept of wisdom. That it carries specific meaning that is widely shared and understood in its language-based representation. Exceptional level of human functioning. Coordinated and balanced interplay of intellectual, affective and motivational aspects. Associated with a high degree of personal and interpersonal competence. Involves good intentions and is used for the well-being of oneself and others. Baltis identified 7 properties of wisdom. That wisdom represents a truly superior level of knowledge, judgment and advice. Wisdom addresses important and difficult questions and strategies about the meaning of life. Wisdom includes knowledge about the limits of knowledge and the uncertainties of the world. Wisdom constitutes knowledge with extraordinary scope, depth, measure and balance. Wisdom involves a perfect synergy of mind and character, an orchestration of knowledge and virtues. Wisdom represents knowledge used for the good or well-being of oneself and that of others. Wisdom, although difficult to achieve and to specify, is easily recognized when manifested. The second type of wisdom theories are explicit psychological theories, which focus on cognitive and behavioral expressions of wisdom and the processes involved in the interplay of cognition and behavior. Work on explicit psychological conceptions of wisdom can be divided roughly into 3 groups. First, wisdom as a personal characteristic or a personality disposition. Second, conceptualization of wisdom in the neo-Piagetian tradition of post-formal and dialectical thinking, and conceptualization of wisdom as an expert system dealing with the meaning and conduct of life as advocated in the Berlin wisdom paradigm. Sternberg's balance theory of wisdom. Sternberg's balance theory of wisdom derives from his triarchic theory of intelligence. According to Sternberg's triarchic theory of intelligence, effective adaptation to the environment or the successful use of intelligence involves combining analytic intelligence with practical intelligence and creative intelligence. Analytic intelligence involves information processing skills that guide intelligent behavior. Practical intelligence involves skills required to create an optimal fit between one's skills and the external environment. And creative intelligence involves the ability to capitalize upon experience to process novel information. According to balance theory, wisdom is the application of practical intelligence to solve problems in a way that achieves the common good, keeping in mind ethical values. Sternberg emphasizes the role of balance. A factor analytic study was conducted by Sternberg, Savarkar et al. In 1997, in which participants rated 131 attributes regarding the degree to which each represents the notion of an ideally wise person. The dimensions identified were exceptional knowledge concerning the acquisition of wisdom, exceptional knowledge concerning its application, and exceptional knowledge about contextual and temporal variations of life and person-related competencies. Wisdom involves applying knowledge to solve problems in a way that achieves a balance among multiple interests like intrapersonal interests, interpersonal interests, and extrapersonal interests, which is the things that would be good for everyone affected by the problem within the society. Wisdom also involves applying tacit knowledge to solve problems in a way that achieves a balance among multiple types of responses to environmental contexts. These responses include adapting to the current social environment, shaping the current social environment to adapt, and selecting a new social environment. Therefore, according to Sternberg's balance theory, wisdom is using practical intelligence in a way that balances one's own interests and those of others involved to achieve a common good. The Berlin Wisdom Project conceptualizes wisdom as an expertise in the meaning and conduct of life, fundamental pragmatics of life, that is, knowledge about the essence of the human condition and the ways and means of planning, managing, and understanding a good life. Antecedents of wisdom. Wisdom is acquired through an extended and intense process of learning and practice. Wisdom is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon. Hence, the emergence of wisdom requires the interaction of a variety of experiential factors and processes on micro and macro levels. Wisdom involves the interplay of cognitive, personal, social, interpersonal, and spiritual factors. Therefore, its antecedents are diverse in nature. Wisdom is expected to reach its peak relatively late in adult life. The guidance of mentors, experience, and mastery of critical life experiences, etc., are conducive to the development of wisdom. According to Baltes and Staudinger, the three domains of ontogenetic conditions and processes that influence the development of wisdom are facilitative experiential contexts for the development of wisdom include chronological age, education, parenthood, professions that require social emotional intelligence. Second, expertise relevant factors such as experience in life matters, the availability of mentorship in dealing with life problems, and motivational factors. Third, person related factors such as basic cognitive processes, intelligence, creativity, flexible cognitive styles, and personality dispositions. The paradigm for assessing wisdom consists of the following three core features. Participants are confronted with difficult life problems of fixed fictitious people under standardized conditions. They are asked to read short vignettes about problems of life management, planning and review. Then they are instructed to think aloud about those life problems, and their responses are tape recorded and transcribed. A selected panel of trained judges then decides the protocols according to 5 criteria. Criteria 1 and 2. Rich factual, that is declarative knowledge, and rich procedural knowledge. Whereas factual knowledge related to wisdom includes topics like human nature, lifelong development, interpersonal relations, social norms, and individual differences. Procedural knowledge comprises strategies and heuristics for dealing with life problems. Criteria 3, 4 and 5, that is meta criteria. Lifespan contextualism refers to knowledge about the many different themes and contexts of human life, their interrelations and cultural variations. Value relativism and tolerance refers to acknowledgement of individual and cultural differences in values. Recognition and management of uncertainty refers to knowledge about the limitations of human information processing and about the low predictability of events in human life. A protocol is classified as approaching wise only if it has received high ratings on all 5 criteria. Let us look at the selected findings from the Berlin Wisdom Project. Age and wisdom related performance. Wisdom related performance increases sharply during adolescence and young adulthood, that is between 15 and 25 years, but remains relatively stable during middle adulthood and young old age, that is between 25 and 75 years. Peak performances are more likely in the 50s and 60s. Wisdom related performance may decline in very old age at the average age of 75. The role of professional experience. Clinical psychologists showed higher levels of wisdom related performance than the members of other professions. The performance of persons nominated as wise. The wisdom nominees performed at least as well as the clinical psychologists. Predictors of wisdom related performance. Person related factors include an integration of intellectual abilities, personality dispositions, and characteristics representing the interface between intelligence and personality. Staudinger, Lopez and Baltes investigated the joint and unique effects of these 3 broad domains of person-related factors on wisdom-related performance. All 3 domains shared 9% of the predicted variance. Among the interface variables, cognitive styles and creativity showed the strongest correlations to wisdom-related performance. As a meta-heuristic, wisdom guides the strategies that a person selects with respect to a large number of problems in the fundamental pragmatics of life. Linking wisdom to psychological theories of motivation and values. Wisdom may function as a selector for enhancement and reduction of the emotions, values, and motives involved in becoming a good human being. Psychological theories of values. Numerous researchers have relied on the value theory given by Milton Rokesh. Rokesh distinguished two types of values. Values about modes of conduct, that is instrumental values, refer to beliefs about which means lead to certain desirable outcomes. In contrast, values about end states of existence, that is terminal values, refer to desirable life outcomes themselves. Instrumental values with self-focus were called competence values, that is, being ambitious, intellectual. Those with a focus on other people's well-being were called moral values. Example, being helpful, forgiving, polite, etc. Similarly, terminal values with self-focus were called personal values. For example, self-respect, a comfortable life, freedom, and those with other focus were labeled as social values. For example, equality. Another research area is work on moral competence. Beginning with Piaget and Kohlberg, this area has been concerned with the cognitive and behavioral manifestations of other serving values. Most contemporary psychological research focuses primarily on the development of self-serving goals and dispositions. The philosophy-based approach of wisdom may give us some indication of how self and other serving values may be utilized in the service of optimal functioning and a good life. Views from wisdom on personal values and positive lifespan development. Wisdom is an orientation toward the common good. Wisdom is an intra and interpersonal concept. Wisdom entails knowledge about how we can lead a personally meaningful and satisfying life. Garrett proposes the following definition of wisdom. Wisdom is that understanding which is essential to living the best life. Ryan suggests a similar definition of a wise person. S is wise if S is a free agent, S knows how to live well, S lives well, and S's living well is caused by S's knowledge about how to live well. Kekis stated that wisdom is a character trait intimately connected with self-direction. Wisdom is integrative, holistic and balanced knowledge. Wisdom is integrative since it focuses on the whole. Balance lies at the core of wisdom. Interesting research findings about wisdom. Wisdom positively predicts successful aging. Wisdom is linked to the well-being of older people more than objective life circumstances such as physical health and physical environment. Hartman, in his study of women through midlife, found that women who made major changes in the domains of love and work were wiser by midlife. Stressful life events may help in the development of wisdom, but only up to a certain point. People may benefit from stressful life experiences if they are able to respond well to them. However, as the ratio of negative to positive life experiences tips in favor of the negative, wisdom is inhibited according to Hartman. Wisdom is distinct from intelligence as measured by IQ tests according to Sternberg. Let us now summarize what we have learnt in this module. Wisdom generally relates to the insight into the human condition as well as the means and ends of a good life. It involves an integration of knowledge and experience as well as a deep understanding of the uncertainties of life. Explicit theories of wisdom define wisdom as a stage of personality development, a stage of cognitive development, or a high level of skill development involving both personality and cognitive processes. The interest in the concept of wisdom emerged as a reaction to a one-sided focus on the negative in gerontological research in the 1960s and 70s. Baltes and Sternberg have developed 5 criteria to evaluate the quality of a wise judgment or behavior. Distinctions are made between implicit and explicit theories of wisdom. Implicit theoretical approaches to wisdom discuss the 4 conceptions regarding the nature of wisdom. In contrast, theories of wisdom developed by psychologists may be called as explicit theoretical approaches. According to the balance theory by Sternberg, wisdom is the application of practical intelligence to solve problems in a way that achieves the common good, keeping in mind ethical values. The Berlin Wisdom Project conceptualizes wisdom as an expertise in the meaning and conduct of life. Fundamental pragmatics of life, that is, knowledge about the essence of the human condition and the ways and means of planning, managing and understanding a good life. Wisdom may function as a selector for enhancement and reduction of the emotions, values and motives involved in becoming a good human being. There are many interesting findings related to wisdom.